A long time ago, in a quiet village called Awani, the sky grew dark and heavy. That night a strong storm came. The clouds clashed like drums, and the wind roared like a lion. Trees bent and cracked, the river overflowed, and everyone in the village locked their doors. Thunder shook the ground. It was one of the worst storms anyone had seen. While most people stayed inside, old Pa Kofi, a kind and hard-working hunter, was in the deep forest hunting, near the rocky hill outside the village. As he walked through the rain, holding a lantern, he heard something strange. "Mama! Mama!" It was a child's voice, soft but clear, carried by the wind. Pa Kofi moved closer. Near a small tree, he saw a little girl standing all alone in the storm. She looked about 3 years old, soaking wet, with mud on her legs. She had large, glowing eyes and wore a blue cloth tied around her shoulders. On her wrist was a shiny silver bracelet that sparkled in the storm. "Oh dear," Pa Kofi whispered, kneeling down. "Who are you, child? Who left you here? Where are your parents?" The girl didn't answer. She only cried softly. He waited and searched everywhere to see if he can see the trace of the child's parents, but see no one. Pa Kofi carried her in his arms and brought her home. His wife, Mama Lami, was shocked by his explanation. She gently wiped the girl clean, wrapped her in a dry cloth and gave her warm food. "She is a gift from the gods," Mama Lami said kindly. "Let's call her Naya." And so, Naya was raised in Awani by Pa Kofi and his wife. Nobody knew where she came from, but everyone grew to love her. Naya grew up gentle and helpful. She always smiled, helped elders fetch water, played with younger children, and kept the compound clean. She was quiet and wise beyond her years. But Naya was also different. When she laughed, flowers bloomed quickly around her. When she cried, the wind would blow through the trees even on a still day. Villagers noticed strange things. Sometimes people saw shadows dancing near her. Sometimes, birds followed her or animals acted strange around her. At night, Naya sometimes saw glowing figures outside her window. They stood quietly, watching her. "Ndemi," they whispered. "Come home." She didn't know what they meant. She would call out but they would disappear. "Mama, who are those people?" she asked. "What people, my dear?" Mama Lami replied. "They shine like stars." Mama Lami only hugged her. "Maybe you are dreaming." But Naya knew they were real. Then came a time of sadness. Pa Kofi, who had loved Naya like his own, fell very ill. Naya sat beside him every day, feeding him and fanning him. But his breathing grew weaker. One morning, as the rooster crowed, Pa Kofi closed his eyes and did not open them again. Naya cried harder than ever before. The wind howled with her. Trees outside bent low. "Why did death take my father away from me?" she whispered. Her heart began to carry a quiet, growing pain. As the years passed, Naya became a beautiful young woman. Her hair was dark and thick like woven silk, her skin smooth, and her eyes soft and deep like a calm river. Many people in Awani admired her from afar. But she always walked with grace, spoke politely, and kept to herself. She laughed kindly, but it always felt like there was a quiet sadness behind her smile. The first man to stir Naya's heart was Oba. He was a merchant who traveled from village to village, selling spices, beads, and fine cloth. Oba was tall, smooth-talking, and had a confident air that drew people to him. When he came to Awani, he set up a colorful stall in the market square. Everyone gathered around to listen to his tales of distant lands. Oba noticed Naya the first day he arrived. She had a small stall of her own nearby, where she sold bottles of scented oil and bundles of fresh flowers tied with grass string. Her calm presence and quiet smile caught his attention. He watched her from across the market and smiled. "You walk like a queen," he said the day they met. He began bringing her small gifts, beaded necklaces, smooth stones, and cloth with shiny threads. He told her she was rare, unlike any woman he had ever met. "You shine like morning light," he would say. Naya, who had never been given such attention before, slowly opened her heart. She began to believe in Oba's sweet words. She looked forward to seeing him. She even told Mama Lami, "Maybe I've finally found someone who understands me." But one morning Oba was gone. His stall was empty, and so were some of the clay pots Naya had left for him. Later, a traveler from a nearby town said, "That merchant, I saw him with another girl. He gave her the same kind of necklace and told her the same sweet things." Another woman added, "Oba is a sweet talker. He charms women, takes what he wants, and disappears." Naya sat alone by the river for many days, holding the last beaded necklace Oba gave her. Her tears fell like rain. She felt ashamed and foolish. Naya stayed alone for a while, focusing on herself. Some time later Naya met someone new. His name was Keem, a quiet fisherman who lived near the river's edge. Keem was not a man of many words, but his actions were gentle. He would bring Naya fresh fish wrapped in leaves and quietly sit beside her as she washed clothes. Keem had strong hands and a kind smile. He didn't flatter her like Oba. Instead, he made her laugh with silly jokes and helped her carry heavy baskets. One day, he carved a small wooden turtle and gave it to her. "For luck," he said. "It reminds me of you, quiet, strong, and full of mystery." Slowly, Naya began to trust again. She smiled more. She helped Keem mend his nets and even walked with him to the market. One evening, after many months of friendship and laughter, he said, "I want my parents to meet you." Naya was nervous but hopeful. "If they are like you, I will be happy to know them," she said. On a sunny afternoon, Keem walked with Naya across the village to his family compound by the river. His mother, a strong woman with sharp eyes, welcomed them with a cautious smile. His father, quiet and stern, sat under a tree carving wood. First, the visit was warm. They spoke about fishing and village life. But as soon as Naya spoke, the mood shifted. Keem's mother leaned toward him and said quietly, "There's something strange about her." Later, his father pulled him aside. "She's not one of us. I don't trust what I see in her eyes." Keem walked her home silently. First, Keem just stopped visiting. He no longer came by the river or greeted her in the village. When they crossed paths in the market, he avoided her eyes. 2 weeks passed, then 3 more. Then Naya heard the news. Keem was now courting a girl from another village, the daughter of a boatmaker. Naya's heart broke again. She walked alone to the river, clutching the little wooden turtle. She sat on a rock and stared at the water. "Why does love run from me?" she asked the stars above. And deep inside her heart, a quiet fear began to grow. Maybe no one would ever truly love her, not for who she was inside. Naya felt her heart crack once more. One quiet night, Naya lay on her mat, unable to sleep. A strange feeling pulled at her, soft but strong. Before she knew it, she was walking under the moonlight, drawn by something she couldn't explain. She passed the river and the trees, her feet moving on their own, until she reached the rocky hill where Pa Kofi had once found her. The air was cool. The moon hung full and bright above her. She sat on the same rock where she had first cried as a child. Her eyes filled with tears again. "Who am I? Why do I feel like I don't belong to where I am?" The wind blew gently. A soft light glowed in front of her. A tall spirit figure appeared. It wore white robes and its face was calm. "My child," the spirit said, "your name is not just Naya. You are Ndemi, daughter of the hill spirits." Naya gasped. "Hill spirits?" "Yes," said the spirit. "You were lost but not forgotten. We have watched over you. Your powers are waking. But remember this, if you want to stay with humans, you must not let your anger take over." "Why not?" "Because your true form is not like theirs. If you become too angry, the spirit in you will rise. You will become what they fear." Naya felt scared. But she also felt truth. "I understand," she said. "I will try." The spirit smiled and vanished. Soon after, a young man named Tari came to Awani. He was building the new bridge across the river. He was tall, funny, and clever with his hands. The villagers liked him. When Tari saw Naya, he was struck. "You are different," he said. "Beautiful in a quiet way." Naya smiled but said little. She had been hurt before. But Tari was patient. He brought her carved spoons and helped Mama Lami fix her fence. He sat with Naya and listened to her stories. Slowly, she began to feel close to him. One quiet evening, under the soft glow of the moon, Tari gently took Naya's hand. "Naya," he said, "I want to marry you." Her heart skipped. Memories of past heartbreak rushed through her mind. Oba's lies, Keem's silence, and the spirit's warning echoed deep within her. She met Tari's eyes. He looked sincere, hopeful. "Yes," she whispered, her voice steady but cautious. "But there's something I'll share, when the time is right." Word spread quickly through the village. People were overjoyed. Drums echoed through the hills, and songs of celebration filled the air. "Naya has found love at last," they said. Preparations began quickly. Women wove wrappers, the village square was dressed in flowers, and children practiced their dances. Drums echoed into the night as Mama Lami cooked sweet yam porridge and honey rice for Naya. Naya felt a strange mix of happiness and worry. She often looked toward the hills, quietly asking the spirits, "Let this love be true. Let this joy stay." The wedding day arrived. The sun was warm and golden. Naya wore a white wrapper with soft blue beads, and her hair was tied with small white flowers. Tari wore a fine red robe, freshly sewn by the village tailors. They sat together in the village square, smiling as elders gave them blessings. That night, the village danced and sang by firelight. After the feast, Naya and Tari were led to their new home, freshly built by Tari. Inside, candles glowed and flower petals lined the floor. It was supposed to be the happiest night of Naya's life. But the hills whispered warnings the humans could not hear. That night, after the music had faded and the village rested, Naya sat inside their new hut, looking around at the glowing lights. Her heart was calm, but her thoughts wandered. Tari stepped outside, saying he needed to speak with a friend. Curious, and a little unsure, Naya followed silently, stopping behind the wall. That's when she heard it. "She trusts me," Tari whispered. "The priest said if I offer her spirit during the midnight ritual, I'll gain long life and power. After tonight, I'll never suffer again." His friend replied, "Are you sure she won't find out?" "She's soft," Tari said coldly. "She won't see it coming." Naya's heart dropped. Her breath grew heavy. Her hands trembled. Her chest burned. A storm began to rise within her. She ran inside the hut with a loud scream. Her legs began to twist together. Her skin turned into shiny, hard scales. Her tongue flicked out. Her eyes glowed like fire. She had become a giant snake, her true form awakened by pain, fury, and Tari ran inside and saw her. He screamed, "Help! Help!" and ran toward the village. Villagers came running with torches. "She turned into a snake," Tari shouted. "She's cursed." But Mama Lami stepped forward. "No," she said. "That is my daughter. That is Naya." People paused. Some villagers rushed to call the priestess. Then a red-robed figure walked through the crowd. It was Mama Tutu, the village priestess. She was known for her wisdom and power. She raised her staff. "Let truth rise like the morning sun," she said. The great snake stilled. Her glowing eyes swept over the silent crowd. Mama Tutu stepped forward and raised her staff. Her voice was calm but strong. "Tari," she said, "what is it that you have done to cause this?" Tari sank to his knees, shaking. "I didn't love her," he confessed. "A priest told me I needed someone who truly loved me, pure and innocent. If I offered her soul after the wedding, he said I would gain power and long life. That's why I married her, to sacrifice her." Whispers turned to gasps. Faces that once smiled at him now looked away. Mama Tutu turned to the Naya still in the snake form. And you, who are you truly? The snake lifted her head, and her voice came, soft and steady. I am Naya. But before that I was Ndemi. I was lost from my spirit family and raised by humans. I tried to find love here. But again I was broken. The priestess lowered her eyes with respect. Then return. And let the one who betrayed you go with you. Not for power, but to live with the truth of what he has done. Naya turned without another word and moved toward the forest. Tari stood slowly and followed her. His face pale, his steps heavy. They disappeared into the trees. One spirit returning home, the other walking toward his judgment. No one saw them again.
But the village never forgot. They spoke of the girl born of light who wandered too far from home, and the man who mistook love for a tool. In Awani, they say, love is not a weapon, and trust is not a game. For those who use pure hearts for selfish gain, there is always a price. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like, share it with someone who loves good tales, and don't forget to subscribe for more magical stories told in simple words. Until next time, stay kind, stay wise, and remember, every choice writes your story.